Hi everyone! Let me know that you're here or if you're watching it on replay. Just got home with the kids and didn't even cross my mind until we were driving down the road that it rained and I had clothes on the line. I was like, no! It's all right. We will make it through. Oh my goodness, here we are. And you know what? We always know that August is faster than July. This is your weekly guidance from August 18 to 24. Unbelievable. So hard to believe. Hey, Kaylee. Hi, Michelle. Hey, Janice. Hello, hello. Come on in. Oh my gosh, though, but like, my little soul is so happy for routine. So happy that the heat wave's over. It's like we can live our life again. We're not just merely trying to survive the heat. As you guys saw over the last couple of days, I have been posting some offerings, classes, what's kind of coming up the next little bit. Still working on some new venues for Messages from Spirit event. We do have the Sydney show December 4th, which is always kind of like a Christmassy show. The tickets go fast, so we put them up early. So that's live on my website, angelamcclellan.com, under the upcoming events. September 10th, we have Connecting with Your Spirit Guides class. Now, I just did a video the other day talking briefly about it. It is my favorite class to teach. It is so magical. Everyone who has taken it loves it. It is one of those, and again, very beginner friendly, being someone who learned as they came as well. Like as I was going, it was so intimidating. So that's where I teach from. I don't want it to be intimidating. I don't want it to be hard. Doing this for over the last 10 years, it is clear to me that we are meant to know this. This is an extension of us. So it's not something that is tricky. We just need to kind of have that guidance and have someone hold our hands as we're going through it. And so it is one of those, learning about my spirit guides is probably the one thing that completely changed my path, because then I leaned on them. Bring me what I need to learn, bring me what I need to do, etc., etc. And so it really is one of those life-changing classes that's fun. That's also fun, right? We do weekly challenges. So like Wednesday, I'll post the recorded, and listen, I know you guys are busy, right? 20 minutes tops, get the information, have a few days to do the homework, which is just use the information in your everyday life. It's like a challenge. Like, you know, the assignments are like little challenges of just try it. And then on Sunday, after you utilizing the information that you received, you can come into the live interactive class and go, this is what worked. This is what I'm struggling with. What am I doing wrong? And we're able to address it in real time. So I love setting up the classes like that, because learning anything intuition is trial and error. No matter how well we can word it and how well we can articulate it and how well we can read it and understand it, you can only do it the way that you do it. I can only do it the way that I do it, right? And so there is a lot of trial and error and figuring out how does it work for you, right? And so always keeping that in mind when we're doing classes. October 22nd is a one-night class, which is Intro to Oracle Cards. Oracle cards, right? And so everything that you need to know, again, from that I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know what cards to choose, which is why you don't even need cards to take this class, because we're going to go over how to pick the cards, what cards are good for you, what to do when you get the cards, right? And everything in between picking out a deck of cards and doing a reading for someone else, right? Doing the daily cards, like, and really breaking down, in that very beginner level of this addressing all of these big question marks so that then you're comfortable learning and making it your own. And so replay is always available for any of the classes. Each class does have a Facebook community group that is private, that is just for that class. So you're not overwhelmed. It's always like, I love doing that because then you have a built-in group of like-minded people, because a lot of us who are into intuition or into growing and learning about it doesn't mean that we come from people that love it or believe in it, right? And so having that support system so you don't feel like you're alone in it is also so important to me, because oftentimes we are in our spiritual closet being like, how do I even feel about this, right? Or we're around strong personalities that are very cynical or very skeptical, and so we may be feeling a little bit foolish. So here is a group of like-minded people that you guys can work and share experiences and learn from. So that's always important when I do classes. So that's what's on. We do have a brand new class. I'm so excited. I know my originals, it's been years. It's been years since Spirit has guided a class. And again, all these classes that I do are through Spirit, which is why even though everybody's been asking me for years to make a new class, I literally couldn't, because it's not something I do on my own. It's something that Spirit moves through me. So I am tickled. I am tickled that we have something new coming in, and hopefully that's why we're doing the Spirit Guide class September 10th. So that's wrapped up for a beginning of November new class, which will then be wrapped up before, like well before Christmas, right? So excited. Once I finalize and put all the finishing touches on that, hopefully by next week, I will be able to let you guys know about that. And then again, September 18th, online experience. That's a gallery style mediumship reading on Zoom that you can pop in, take it in. All that stuff's on my website. Everything, I put the classes under the upcoming events as well. So it's just like one stop to see what's coming in and what's new. Like I said, August is zooming by. We're talking about back to school. Not for Jane though. Jane retired. It's going to be a different September for you, girl. But everybody in my household is really ready for routine. So bring it on. We thrive in the fall. All right, let's get into these weekly guidance cards. Again, this is your general weekly guidance for August 18th through to the 24th. Love it. Ooh, this is so good. So we have the 10 of Earth. This is always coming into a completion, a full moon, or a full circle, right? Even today's cards, like you should have heard me squeal. This morning when those two cards came out together, like, oh my God, right? The end of an era and taking the next steps. I was like, yes, because we've been feeling this. We've been working towards this. Really happy to see this coming in. This is indicating the same, like we're safe, right? The outcomes are coming in a positive way. So financial security for yourself and your family, inheritance, retirement, peace or contentment in your life, honoring yourself, honoring your traditions, almost kind of like honoring our past, but welcoming in our future, right? And that really seems to be this shift. There's the ending. Look, our bags are packed and we're done. We are so done with that past life room. We are so excited as a whole to like be moving forward and have this new coming in. You may even have found yourself, even if you haven't had the new experiences show up just yet, right? Like relationships, new opportunities, new job opportunities, new movements. Sometimes people's houses are on the market forever and all of a sudden an offer came out of nowheres, or we're house hunting and all of a sudden our dream house is coming in. There's so much that is emotion now, which we're like, so here for. But we are really ready to say goodbye to that sense of struggle and hardship that we just walked through and moved through, which has, everything is on purpose, and it has really made us who we are, right? And I think that is so important that you understand and that you hold gratitude for that, because it has made you who you are right now. I've been doing a lot of reflection as well, and just thinking and just noticing how differently I am showing up in certain experiences, where in the past I would have handled it one way, or I would have really struggled with that back and forth, that doubt and fear, that inner torment, or I would have felt maybe less than or smaller. And now I can see how, because of those past experiences, there's more grounded, there's more willingness to take up space, there's more, I guess, confidence is the word, right? And that's what comes from walking through the fire, right? Like that trust that you have within yourself. And we think that it breaks us until we move into this next season and we're just like, dang, look at me kicking ass, taking names, right? And so that's really and I want you to have this awareness moving forward. I think we're still kind of tiptoeing. I think we're still feeling as though, oh, is this really it? Like, is it safe to go all in and have hope and faith again, right? Because it was really touch and go there for a while. And I think too, the daily cards have been so on making sure that we have that reassurance, start banking on change, start getting excited again. Another indicator that your energy is shifting and feeling and reflecting this mass energy is creativity. My creatives, my artists, my writers, I'm sure you had a hard time tuning in when everything was now that the creativity is flowing in, it reflects the energy that we're in. And so you may be getting massive downloads. You may be all of a sudden being like, I'm painting the walls. I need a whole new wardrobe. I'm cutting my hair off. Creative outlets, right? And so that's always a beautiful reflection that the energy is moving up, right? We're feeling more inspired. We're feeling more motivated. We're having more creative energy coming in. Sorry. I'm going to cough again. All very much reflecting this shift and this change, okay? A blessing to be able to react differently. Isn't that just huge, Steph? And I love that because I feel like until we have those moments, thank you, Carrie. Until we have those moments, I don't think we clock the growth. Guys, I need more water. We're in control again. And so really kind of seeing these new experiences coming up and being able to witness how differently we show up in it, I think is just awesome. So I definitely feel like keep that in your mind as you're walking through these next couple of weeks, okay? New opportunities, new experiences, and positive outcomes connected to children, okay? So whether we're talking about children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, students, neighbors, inner child, there seems to be new opportunities that's presenting itself that feels exciting. There is this sense of it, questioning it, right? I think that it is something that is hopeful. Again, coming in with potential of new direction is kind of the feeling that's coming in with it. And so that may look like, you know, your child is wanting to change directions, change education. Maybe your child doesn't want to play this sport anymore. They want to play that sport. We don't want to play this instrument. We want to play that instrument, right? There's kind of this shift and this change. There's almost this follow their lead, because listen, we're adults and we feel like we have been on the roller coaster of life, but we have a fully formed brain that can go, okay, this is what's happening, and we're not alone in it. It sucks, but we see everybody as a whole. You know, everybody's kind of navigating this. They are children who are also on that roller coaster, right? But they don't have that adult brain to go, this is why this, they're just going full tilt. And so I think that it is so important for us to kind of get curious. Well, where's this coming from? And and follow their lead, because they as well went through a transformation, whether they're itty bitties or young adults, right? They as well went through a massive transformation, a massive coming into their own. And so instead of dismissing or being like, this is what we always did and this is the way it should be, I think that we should be open to hearing them out and getting curious of why they're wanting to make the changes, because this is releasing, this is letting something go, instead of just trying to force a certain direction. Okay. There's also this switch and this increase, which again, we've talked about creativity and how that's really reflecting in our energy, and that's always a good sign that things are lightening for us. There's also the need for learning, right? And like I said, look at you know, feeling guided myself to be offering these classes, which I used to teach way more often than I have been, because I too was not in that energy, right? And so there's always, like I say, there's a season for learning, there's a season for action, there's a season for being, and there's a season for healing. And now we're kind of cycling through them and we're into this learning again, okay? And so we're kind of learning it, but this feels very passionate, right? And so this may not be technically connected to our studies or our career. Maybe we want to learn a second language. Maybe we want to take the intuitive classes. Maybe we want to learn how to do yoga. Maybe we want to start learning how to run, and we're going to do like couch to 5K, right? Learning comes in so many different ways, right? But there's almost this wanting to enrich your life again. And so you're going to focus on things that you love, but being curious and welcoming in this new information. I don't think that there's a little bit of something holding you back though, right? And so maybe we have signed up for certain things in the past and wasn't able to follow through. Maybe because it wasn't the time, right? It wasn't the time. How many books I have purchased over the last 3 years that sat there. And it really wasn't until May of this year that I was like, let me get that book out, right? And because I'm getting back into my learning season, and feeling that inspired as well, right? And so if you have made commitments or made plans previously and couldn't follow through, that wasn't entirely a you thing, right? Like that was the energy that we're in. Look, took beginner adult ukulele last fall. I love that. Just register. I love that, right? Like how fun. And it's so nice to like be the student, right? Isn't it so nice to like learn something new and kind of have that challenge, but also it's nice to not be expected to know everything, because I feel like as adults, right, and as a mom, like you're just expected to have the answers. And if you don't have the answers, thank God for Google, right? But like it's nice to get to not be perfect at something and learn something new, because you know the older you get, we do that less, so you really do need to seek that out. And so this is why they're saying like just change your mindset around it. There's something a little bit prickly around that, right? That maybe there's some sense of like it feels like criticism, but it's more like judgment. Like anyways, I always say we are constantly learning. If you ever think that you have arrived in life and you don't have to learn anything, like, major red flag. That's a major red flag, right? You're going to be learning. Life is constantly shifting and changing. We're going to learn how to do it. We're going to learn how to do it better. Somebody else is going to figure out a way. They're going to teach us and we're going to be like, this is brilliant, right? How many times have I seen, like a TikTok or friends and families who's have little babies now that I'm like, I wish I knew that when my kids, right? And my youngest is almost 10. And you wouldn't believe how much, especially in the baby department, has changed in the last 10 years, right? And so we're constantly learning. Everything's constantly evolving and leveling up. We are always going to be learning. We are never going to know it all. We may get a little bit better discerning on what's real and what's not and what's worth our time and what isn't, right? I feel like even just like commercially, 10, 15 years ago, I would see something and I'd be like, I need that. I need that. I get less influence these days to purchase what they're selling me that's going to fix everything. So there's that learning through trial and error. But I think of learning and learning kind of like these life hacks or learning about ourselves. I mean, pulling the layers back on who you are and really where you came from is very empowering as well. Okay. What is this? This is complicated is what this is. There seems to be, sorry, there was just like a thing. There seems to be, I love that 3 weeks in learning yoga, and I love that. I love that for you. Learning is never ending, absolutely. There seems to be a complicated experience that's coming in as well. It is complicated in the sense that there's almost like this hurt feelings, or there is this kind of letdown, or there is this sadness. What's interesting is it's almost like we are receiving because they are losing. And that's where it's complicated. There's very much this receiving, which is a blessing, which is a reward, but it's kind of compiled in heaviness and emotions and grief, right? And so oftentimes when we're receiving inheritance, we are grateful for if it's a financial inheritance, we're grateful for that, but also we're super sad because that means somebody near and dear to our hearts has crossed over. Sometimes if somebody is sick and they go off work, we're sad for them, we miss them, we worry for them, but that opened up an opportunity for you that is now benefiting you. There's something that is kind of coming in. Maybe it's like a foreclosure on a home, and that is awful for them, but a blessing for you. There's this kind of like, I'm trying to just find examples to kind of go with this. And so this is something that is emotional and heartfelt. There's the grief card, which is grief is anything that once was that no longer is. Grief is not only for departed loved ones. And there's the hurt feelings and feeling a little bit unsure. I think the best way is to be honest. I think it's just a tricky experience. That's what it feels like. It just feels like a tricky experience. There's no wrong way. The only wrong way I would say is not welcoming in the blessing. The blessing is a blessing. It just is. It wouldn't be coming to you if it wasn't meant for you, right? And so there's a lot of complicated energy around this because it's like we want to be excited and grateful, but it's heavy. And, like think about an organ transplant. If you're receiving it, what a blessing, right? Saved your life. Also means that somebody else is devastated and somebody else's family is having that experience. So this is kind of where this is coming in at, right? Still a blessing. I think that it's important for us to communicate and kind of acknowledge as we kind of go through it. Find a way to honor, I think, is going to be it. I think, you know, pushing it off and not welcoming in the blessing for you is kind of like this knee-jerk reaction that you want to take. But it doesn't feel like that feels right either. And so clear communication, make sure you're being honest with yourself. Don't worry about being politically correct. Like, just feel what needs to be felt. I think is going to give you clarity on how to move forward with this. Again, look, the outcome here is a great success, right? So the spirit in your divine path is saying, like, even though this is complicated emotionally for you, this is a blessing. This is for you. Financial security, prosperity, everything turning out beautifully. And so just kind of reminding yourself that, you know, it's sometimes tricky. It's sometimes tricky emotionally. It sometimes can be complicated. Sometimes can be very uncomfortable. Sitting with it and letting yourself feel the entire array of emotions, going back to that emotion wheel, feeling wheel. We shared that a couple of weeks ago, but you could just Google it, and trying to articulate the exact feeling that you're having, because I'm like, they're making me feel everything, right? And that's why I'm like, ooh, this is tricky, because everything is kind of hitting, right? We're excited, we're sad, we're grieving, we're almost a little bit shameful. There's a little bit of guilt there. And so there's a lot that's kind of happening. And I think that sitting, or even better, getting on a call with a social worker or therapist or a psychiatrist to help kind of sort this through, or maybe if a bereavement counselor, if that's the category that you're in this experience with. I think that kind of getting a little support walking through that to help see the clarity and sort out those emotions are going to be the best thing for you. Okay. August 18th to the 24th, like, where is August going? Where is August going? So that is a weekly guidance. Don't forget, there's a lot that's kind of coming in for September. Connecting with Spirit Guide, 6-week course, online, messages from Spirit, Zoom, the 18th, 22nd intro to Oracle card. All that is on my website under the upcoming events. If you have any questions, reach out. I would be happy to answer them, and I'll see you next Monday. Enjoy your week.